Welcome back, guys, and today we're going to be doing a UK 15-day forecast. We're going to be looking at the GFS models and the wind, and we're going to be looking at the rainfall radar map, seeing if we've got anything colder coming in or mild or cold, and we're seeing if we're going to have more windy, wet weather, and we're going to be looking at all of that in this video. So I'm on the wind for you at the moment, and we've got a battle between the mild westerly southwesterlies and a battle between the very cold easterlies. And at the moment we're just in between, so we're very cool, not much going on. So we're really cool, wet, windy, not much happening. So we're going to go to the rainfall radar now. So at the moment we have a little weather front what's passing us now with showers, patchy rain. We've got a big weather front with heavy, maybe some thunder in it, lightning, maybe some thunderstorms, and that should push across the country tonight and into tomorrow. So that's going to be quite wet and unsettled. So I think now we are going to head over to the GFS and get this going. So at the moment we have a lot of high pressure sitting up here. Goodbye. We've got a big bit of high pressure sitting over Scandinavia here, what is trying to bring in the wind from the east. But because of the low pressure here, what will be unsettled and wet will be bringing in a westerly, so that is blocking off the cold air from coming in. So the high pressure is dry, settled, not windy, calm, all that stuff. Low pressure, windy, unsettled, wet, windy, all that stuff. So at the moment the low pressure is winning, so it's going to be very wet and unsettled. Let's get going. As we start this run, we have the Atlantic still going. We have some high pressure then bringing quite a mild or even maybe a little bit of warm wind coming up. But we've still got the high pressure over Scandinavia, what is still trying to bring easterly winds in. But the big bit of low pressure here is just blocking it off, really. It's stopping it, just bringing in these mild westerly winds. Because of the time of the year, it won't be warm, it'll just be a little bit mild. And then we're getting back to the unsettled, windy pattern again, with a very long fetch westerly. And for the rest of Europe, very unsettled, cold in Scandinavia, bringing down a northerly there. We've got a northerly coming down here, and it's probably going to be quite cold around here. So that's the wind looks like it's going from here. The jet stream is roughly around here. So the jet stream has gone south of us. So we need to keep an eye on that. So let's carry on. And as we are now the 3rd of December, we have the high pressure looking like it's trying to get to Scandinavia again and trying to bring those easterly winds in. But again, then westerly winds blocking it off. This time they're a bit more northwesterly, so this would be a bit more cooler because the winds come from Greenland and the North Pole up there. So that'll be a bit cooler. So let's have a look at that, see how much colder it actually is. So 858 HPA temperature. As you can see, as I was saying, that will be a bit colder. And if we carried on bringing winds from that direction, this cold weather here, this big cold pool, could push in, and that's what I'm on about. So that is trying to push into us. You see it's gone a bit cooler here as well. We've got a bit of a colder area here at the moment, where usually we probably have the mild weather across here. Sometimes it would dip down through the UK, but we have got a little bit of a gap here close to us, so it looks a bit cooler. So let's have a look at the equivalent temperatures, see what that's looking like. Yeah, you can see that we're trying to bring that colder air in. So the cold air, what we're looking for is here, because we're bringing the wind in from this way like that. So keep an eye on that. That could get a bit interesting. So we will go back to the run we are currently recording on, and we'll carry on. We have got a winter forecast coming up later, hopefully. So we'll carry on. So now we still have the high pressure up at Scandinavia, and to the end of this run, it's looking quite mild, isn't it? Oh, they're still cooler, aren't they? There's still cooler winds. It's still coming from like that northwesterly. But we're at the end of the run now, and it's looking not that cold, is it? Not that cold, because the wind's like still coming in from a northwesterly, but it could be a bit cooler. In Scotland, we're probably getting a bit of wintry showers and things in, but it looks a bit milder for the rest of the country. Yeah, so we have got a northerly coming down here. And this northerly was a northeasterly. What might just get onto the coast of the UK, but looks like it'll just miss. But that could be in a different complete area. That northerly wind could go down here instead, over us, and be very cold. But it all depends. It all depends where the high pressure goes. So we will now have a look at the 6Z. Okay. All right. So we start off this run with again high pressure over Scandinavia, trying to bring them easterly winds in. But the low pressure was very unsettled, bringing windy conditions and warmer conditions into the country. So the low pressure will be bringing wet and windy weather, very unsettled. It looks a bit cooler coming in from the northwest instead of the westerlies. So it is a bit cooler. It's still looking generally mild though, not that cold. So let's carry on. We're still trying to bring them easterlies in, aren't we? It's just, they're just failing. They just keep failing. We're still in this pattern where we just can't bring them in. There we go. Okay. Maybe you go a little bit cooler here. Like a bit of a northwesterly. Maybe bringing some of that cold air from up here into the country. It's a bit more interesting. But as we carry on, we go back into them westerlies. Not that much happening. Now we are on Wednesday, bringing up milder winds from the south. They're now very unsettled, wet, windy, a lot of rain. Then we actually take the high pressure to Scandinavia. Here we go. This looks a bit different, doesn't it? So this looks different than the other model. So that'll try and bring in an easterly. That looks a bit better for snow, cold weather. but then that just topples over. We end up bringing these mild winds in from the west. Then we go into a bit of a northerly for a time, bringing the winds in for a brief northerly cold snap, but that won't be for long. That'll be just a quick one. As you can tell, it's gone over, and we're on the 5th of December. We're looking basically the same. Right, so we will go back to the winds for a minute and have a look at this. As you can see, we have got the winter forecast ready to go, and we will do that later on today. So basically very windy across the coasts of England, very windy Northern Ireland, and very windy up the east coast. So it's quite interesting. So basically, unsettled, wet, windy, maybe going a bit colder into December. All depends where the high pressure goes. And that's it, really. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.